Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a totally fascinating paradox. It's something literally every single one of us has gone through, but, we rarely stop to think about it from a purely biological perspective. Here's the thing. Out of all the mammals on Earth, humans have one of the absolutely most difficult births. It's a highly complex process. And today, we're going to look at the source material to figure out exactly why this happens.
Just think about the fundamental mechanics for a second. A newborn baby has to pass through a remarkably narrow pathway in the mother's body. So if evolution is supposed to optimize a species for survival, right, it raises a massive question. Why did evolution create such a dangerous process? Why is the very act of bringing new life into the world so inherently risky for us compared to other animals? That's the main mystery we're unpacking today.
Section 1, a dangerous evolutionary mystery. Okay, let's dive into this.
Because to find the answer to our mystery, we have to turn the clock way back. Millions of years ago, long before modern medicine or hospitals, our early ancestors lived mostly in the trees. Because their environment was so vastly different from ours today, their entire anatomy was adapted for swinging from branches, climbing trunks, and just navigating that dense forest canopy. They definitely weren't walking across flat ground the way we do now.
Section 2, walking on two legs. Let's move to and see how this builds.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the direct contrast in biomechanics. As our ancestors continued to evolve, a massive shift occurred. We came down from the trees and started walking on two legs. But look at this. On one side, you've got an ancient body built for climbing trees. On the other, a body that needs efficient, upright movement. A skeletal structure optimized for a tree-climbing ape? Yeah, that is not at all ideal for walking on two legs. So over generations, the human pelvis was actively reshaped and optimized for efficient, upright striding.
And the benefits of this upright movement? Absolutely immense. Walking upright was a total game changer. Step 1, it freed our hands. And because our hands were suddenly free, step 2 became possible. It allowed us to carry and eventually create tools. With tools and free hands, step 3 naturally followed. It fundamentally changed how we explored the world, allowing early humans to travel and interact with their environments in totally unprecedented ways.
But, and here's where the core of our mystery really starts to reveal itself, that amazing evolutionary upgrade created a major new challenge. Because the pelvis was basically changing its entire shape to support walking on two legs, a really significant anatomical shift happened. The birth canal became relatively narrow.
Section 3, the big brain problem.
So the crucial point is that while the pelvis was getting narrower to accommodate walking, an opposing evolutionary force was happening at the exact same time. Human babies were evolving much larger brains, and, a bigger brain simply means a larger head. Now, this incredible intelligence was a massive advantage for our species out in the wild. But, strictly mechanically speaking, a much larger brain requires a much larger skull to hold it all.
Section 4, evolution's difficult balance. And this brilliantly illustrates where things get really complicated. This brings us to the ultimate collision of these two incredible evolutionary upgrades. We basically had two massive biological realities forced to meet. On one hand, you've got a pelvis newly designed and deliberately narrowed for efficient walking. But on the other hand, you've got a baby with one of the biggest brains in the animal kingdom that somehow needs to pass through it.
This specific conflict made human childbirth much more complicated than it is for most other mammals. It is such a remarkably tight fit that, unlike a lot of animals, human babies literally have to physically rotate as they pass through the birth canal. It's this highly complex physical maneuver. And because of this tight, twisting passage, for thousands and thousands of years, childbirth remained one of the absolutely most dangerous moments in a woman's life.
Section 5, how humans adapted. So, rather than our anatomy changing backward to make birth easier, which, let's face it, would have meant giving up our ability to walk upright or our high intelligence, we found another way to survive this highly dangerous biological bottleneck. We adapted socially and culturally. Communities developed these rich childbirth traditions so women weren't doing this alone. Midwives stepped in specifically to help mothers navigate the tricky process. Crucial knowledge was passed down from generation to generation, and eventually modern medical advances dramatically improved survival rates for everyone. Essentially, we used our big brains and social structures to solve the exact problem our big brains and bipedalism created in the first place.
Which brings us to the formal term for what we've been looking at.
The difficulty of human birth wasn't some sort of evolutionary mistake or glitch. It's actually a perfect example of an evolutionary trade-off. This is a biological compromise. The profound advantages of upright walking and immense intelligence directly cause the disadvantage of a difficult childbirth. Evolution weighed the scales and decided to keep the upgrades, despite the heavy cost.
It really is quite amazing when you take a step back and look at the whole picture, isn't it? The exact same biological changes that gave humans the ability to walk upright, to create complex tools, and to develop enormous intelligence, these are the very same changes that created one of the greatest physical challenges for our species. Our greatest gifts are inextricably linked to our greatest vulnerability.
I want to leave you with this final thought as we wrap up this explainer. Evolution gave us powerful brains that allowed us to literally shape the world around us. But it made bringing those very same powerful brains into the world incredibly complicated. It's a fascinating testament to the chaotic, brilliant, and compromising nature of human evolution. Which kind of makes you wonder, what other hidden biological costs are we paying today for the evolutionary upgrades of our past?